Audience like to speak in favor of this request? In favor? Anyone in the audience like to speak in favor? Anyone in the audience like to speak in opposition? Opposition? Okay, here. Okay.
My name is Ms. Full. The thing that I'm concerned about is that I received a certified letter from Brown's County saying that Ms. Teresa Hall wanted to have 1.31 acres changed to residential. My problem is that eventually, prior to that, she only had 9.3 of an acre. So I was concerned that why did they send me a certified letter saying that she had 1.31 acres? And on this letter it says the same thing. That's the part that I told him and I told the lady that I'm concerned about, because she does not quite have an acre. So why didn't the letter say she wanted to have 9.35 acres changed to residential?
You want to respond? Was it just an error on the letter when it went out, or what was the situation?
The request is really Ms. Hall and Ms. Fuller, because Ms. Hall owns the tract 1 and tract 2 here. Ms. Fuller owns tract 3 here. So the request is really for Ms. Hall and Ms. Fuller. It's for both property owners. The 1.31 acres comes in because this zoning is changing, this zoning is changing, and this zoning is changing, which for staff means we had to advertise the total acreage.
So total acreage of all,
that's right.
All the tracts.
0.381 plus 0.554 plus 0.381 is 1.316 property, 1.316 acres. So even though during the property exchange, Ms. Hall or Ms. West will have 0.935 acres here, and Ms. Fuller will get the 0.381 acres to her property, we had to advertise for all 3 pieces because the zoning was changing for all 3.
And it wasn't just her, all the adjoining property owners got the same thing, and it had to be advertised because you was addressing all 3 pieces.
That's right.
Okay.
If we had just been rezoning this 0.935 acres, which Ms. Hall owns, we would have advertised for just 0.935, but we're not. We're not just rezoning that piece, we're also rezoning the piece to the rear that Ms. Fuller currently owns, which is 0.381. So we had to put those together. Even though at the end of the day we anticipate Ms. Hall to have 0.935 acres and Ms. Fuller to get that 0.381 acres back.
Okay, now the problem that I have, like I told him, the survey that she had done was wrong. So how can you say what's going to be added in the back when the survey was done wrong? See, the survey was done, said that she had 1 acre. And then they called my son and said she has a 0.935, a fifth of an acre. And then when the lady came to my house, she said she had a 0.935 of an acre. And I said, yeah, but on the letter you got 1.31. Why didn't you have the same amount on the letter that you called my son and said? I can't understand how you say one thing and then you write something different, because the land hasn't been transferred yet.
I think the 1.3, as he said, was all 3 pieces, is what he referred to. Yours, hers, and this piece right here totals to 1.316 acres.
Well, what I'm saying is that hasn't been transferred. So how can they send me a letter saying that?
But the letter is sent out to all the adjoining property owners to this property. If you happen to be the only one, you would have been the only one guided. but when it goes out, everybody has to be notified that it's fixing to be a zoning change in that, on that particular piece of property. So, because there was not just yours involved in it, all of them, it's a total of 1.316 acres. And when it's separated out, it will be back like you're talking about, but for our purposes, we're addressing 1.316 acres. Because there's 3 parcels that we're fixing to rezone, not just yours, but all 3 of them. So that request is under this one request. Am I correct, Jason?
Yes, sir.
But how can it be 3 parts? This is what I'm saying. When it hasn't been transferred. I mean, I'm.
Ms. Fuller, I think the letter is in reference to the request that's being made for the transfer. It's not saying that the transfer has taken place. That's what we're doing here tonight, is reviewing this request for approval or disapproval. The letter is strictly talking about the request that has been made.
I'm sorry, but I don't understand when you send a letter saying one thing, and then you call my son and say something different. And then the lady comes to the house and tells me something different. I just can't understand why both won't say the same thing. That's the problem I have. Because if she's gonna have .935 of an acre when it's finished, why not say you're gonna transfer .935 from agriculture to residential? That's the problem. That is the only problem I have. I don't understand. Then when I got the registered letter, it said 1.31.